everyone, Karen here, and today I need to make a sympathy card. Now I know sympathy cards can be a little tricky because we're never quite sure what to put on them. But today I'm going to be using the set by Gina K that has a lighthouse and a sailboat on it. And the reason I'm doing that is the person I'm making this card for was an avid sailor. He raced the sailboat with his wife, and I thought that would be a good thing to put on the card. I have a wood grain embossing folder because I thought that would go well with the seaside sailboat. I have some kraft card. I have some black card already cut. For the inside of the card, I have a message, which I'll get to in a second, which is on a 3x5. It's going to go on a 3.5 by 5.5 kraft card. For the front of the card, I have a 4x6 white panel. I'm going to stamp and ink. I have a 4.25 by 6.25 black card I'm going to frame. And then this is also going to get embossed. And this is 5.75 by 6.75. And this is all going to be on a 5x7 card base. So let's start by embossing the kraft card. Let me put all this to the side. And I'll start with the small piece first. And I'm just going to run this through my Gemini MIDI. Alright, so here's one. Now I'm going to take the larger 6.75 by 4.75 and put this through here. Now I'm going to take some honey mustard ink by Gina K. Let me bring in some scrap here. And all I'm going to do is take the ink pad, and on this particular embossing folder, both sides are pretty much the same. You can use it in either side. And I am just going to rub it across lightly so it picks up the embossed parts. I'm really only concerned about the edge. There we go. That is what one is done. Let's bring in the other one. Here again, probably not going to do the middle here. So I really only need the edges, because this will be all covered. There we go. And that is now done. Put this to the side. So now we need to start stamping the inside. Now the message I'm going to use on the top is from Crafter's Companion, and it says, "With caring thoughts." And I already pulled that out, and I'm going to have that ready. So I'm going to lay my 4x6 on here. I'm going to grab the sailboat and the lighthouse. As you can see, I've used this lighthouse a lot. And I am going to overhang it a little bit so the ripples go all the way to the edge, because I do need room to put this on the top here. I'm going to go ahead and put that there. I may bring that down just a tad. And I'm going to put the sailboat over here so it will look like it is closer than the lighthouse is. Trying to make it look like the lighthouse is further away. Alright, now the Gina K stamps are thicker than the Crafter Companion ones, so I can't stamp all this at the same time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up the Gina K ones, and I do have a sticky mat in here. I'm going to move that out of the way, but I know it will fit. So now I'm going to ink this up, and I'm going to use black ink. I thought about using brown, but I think I'm going to use black. Alright, definitely I'm going to have to re-ink my ink pad. I'll do that later. Let's put those stamps to the side and grab the other one. Now with caring thoughts, we'll go up here, like that. Pick that up. There we go. All right, now let's do some coloring. So I'm going to be doing a combination of coloring and inking. So I have Gina K powder blue that I am going to use for the sky here. And I also have an art liner pen, because what I want to do is I want to extend this water across to make it look like this is all one body of water. So I'm just going to continue where this line was. You can see these lines are kind of, they're not a continuous line. They're just kind of like this. So I'll put a few more lines here. A few that are curvy to put some waves. A few little lines. And now it looks like it's one big picture. Now we can go ahead and color. So let me grab my scrap again. All right. So I think I will start with the sky. So, and I don't want a lot of blue here. I just want enough to where it's sky. Don't want it to be too dark. That's probably enough. I can always put some more in when I'm finished. All right, now the lighthouse, again, the other side here, there's a little stripe here in the lighthouse. So I'm going to make that red. And I think I'm going to make the building for the lighthouse red. Now I have, for the roof, I have E57. I'm just going to color in the roof real quick. Now I have B99 for the sailboat. I'm going to make a dark blue sailboat. And this stamp has a lot of shadowing built into it, so it's a very quick color. So now for the sails, I want light colored sails. So I think I'm going to use W0, and I might put a little bit of W1 in there. I'll grab the other side. So I want this to be a white sail. I just want to have just a little bit so it doesn't look uncolored. That's probably going to be fine. I also need to put some in the clouds. So I'm just going to kind of swirl around the clouds a little bit. Just kind of give it a something something. Okay. Now the lighthouse, I didn't want to have the same color as the clouds. So instead of using the W grays, I am going to use a C2. Just put a little color in there. And there is a roof here on the lighthouse, which I forgot. Go back, color that. So now I have the rocks. So I have C5 and C3. So C5 is that dark. C3 is there. So I think I'm going to use C3. And here again, there's a lot of shading already in these rocks. So I just have to very quickly go over them. This stamp has a lot of detail in it. Rock over here. Make that one a little darker than that one since they're next to each other. And we'll say the light is coming from here. So I will make these a little darker. There we go. That is done. So now all I have left is the water down here. Now I think I'm going to use B00, and I may put some inking over the top of this Not really sure yet. So the first thing I'm going to do is go along where all the lines are in the stamp. So that part will be darker. I'll go over the lines I made here under the boat because there would be a shadow there. I'll go across the top. And I'm going to kind of quickly go across here, darker in the background, and then kind of barely touching the paper as I come to the front. And I'm really not even caring if it's even because it's the water. The water's never an even color. I do need to make sure I do this part in here because that's in between the two sails. We'll do some over here. And make sure we do some darker in between the rocks. Give the rock some shadow. Make that a little darker. Make the horizon a little darker. Come down here a little bit more. Get rid of that line. I think that's it. Maybe a little bit more over here. I think I do want a little more blue on the top. So I'll take what's left on that brush and just go across the top. That coloring is done. So let's bring in the rest of the card, put this together. So let's start with the front. So we have our 4x6, our 4 1/4 by 6 1/4, and then the 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. So let's get those glued together. Don't need that anymore. So this will go in here. Glue the 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 down. Put that in the middle. All right. Now for the inside, now this is the inside here. Now I did go to the AI Bing Copilot. I asked it to write a lighthouse themed message for a sympathy card. It did an okay job. It did give me a starting point. I did have to tone it down a little bit. There was a little too much puns for a sympathy card. But it did give me a couple of the wording was okay. So I have, in this time of loss, may the memory of your loved one be a lighthouse, guiding you through the darkest nights and the roughest seas. Their light will always shine, bringing you comfort and hope. And then it says, with deepest sympathy, and then there's room for me to sign my name. All right, so then this is 3 by 5, and it's going on a 3 1/2 by 5 1/2. On there. Let's get our card base. Make sure we're not upside down. And we will finish this card. So I'm not going to put any sparkle or any gems or anything on it. I want to keep it a little bit more somber. But definitely always keep in mind what the person liked and put that on the card. So we'll go here in the middle. If I can get it centered. There we go. I will say sometimes when you use an embossing folder, it warps your card a little bit. So sometimes you may want to check your card after you emboss it. Run it through with an embossing folder to make sure it didn't get warped too much out of shape. I didn't do that here, and I can see it is a little warped over here. But we will make do since it's already glued on there. This will go in the middle. There you have it. We're all finished. So I hope you enjoyed this card, and it makes it a little easier the next time you have to make a sympathy card. And until next time, stay crafty.